This is lesson 13.7, point slope form. Okay, so point slope form. Point slope form is a linear equation that's written in the form of, and this would be your formula, y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. That's point slope form. The line passes through the point y1 or x1, y1, and the slope of the line is m. So when given the slope and just a point, this is one way that you can write an equation of the line. So you use this formula, and your x1, y1 is the point that they give you. Okay? It's the coordinates of the point that's given. And then you take your slope that's also given and enter it into that equation. So here's an example. So if I have you write down the equation or the formula essentially, y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. And then you are going to take the point that you're given, which is the negative 6, 1 here. Let me turn this off here. The negative 6, 1, and you're going to use those values and plunk it into this formula. So the negative 6 goes here in the x1, and the 1 goes here in the y1. And then your slope that they give you goes right here in m. So it becomes then, y minus 1 equals 2/3 x, and then you change the x minus negative 6 to x plus 6. Now, whenever I've done this before, your book just leaves it at that form. I never have done that before. I've always taken it a step further and then simplified this 2/3 by distributing it. So making it y minus 1 equals 2/3 x plus, and then you'd multiply 2/3 times 6. So that becomes 12 over 3, which then would be 4. So it would be 2/3 x plus 4. That's how I have always done it, but your book does not. So when given, unless it tells you to solve for y or to simplify it down to lowest terms, I wouldn't do that. Okay. Oops. So what I'd like you to do is try number 1. Using that formula, try number 1 and pause your computer and then come back. Okay, so for number 1, you're going to start by writing down the formula y minus y1 equals m times x minus x. That should be x1, I suppose. I put x2. Sorry. Okay, so then you have y minus, you're going to plunk in the points. So y minus 2 equals, and then a negative 4 is your slope, times x minus 1, because x is your 1. And then I would rewrite it as just a plus a negative. So y plus a negative 2 equals negative 4 times x plus a negative 1. If you got that right, you can move on. If not, I need you to rewatch. The next section now is when you're given 2 points and using point slope form. You're given 2 points and then writing it in slope intercept form. So you start by calculating your slope. That's what you have to do first, using y minus y over x minus x and the 2 points that are given. And then the second thing you're going to do is enter one of the points in and the slope in the equation, in the formula. And then you're going to simplify. Okay, so if you're in this situation, in this example, if your slope is negative 2 and the point is 2, 4, we calculated the slope of negative 2, and we're just using one point. It really doesn't matter which point you use because both points are on the line. So you still would, when you simplify, you're going to get the same answer. So you plunk in your slope, your negative 2, sorry, for your slope, and then you plunk in 4 and 2 for your y and x. You end up then with y minus 4 equals a negative 2x, because you distributed negative 2 times x, and then you distributed negative 2 times a negative 2, which is 4. So it becomes y minus 4 equals negative 2x plus 4. Well, then you're going to solve for y by adding 4 to both sides. So you end up with y equals a negative 2x plus 8. Okay. All right, so if you look then, I would like you to do number 4. Pause your computer, do number 4, and then come back to make sure that you understand what you're doing. Okay, so my slope is y minus y over x minus x. So I'm going to do 1 minus negative 4 over negative 2 minus 3, which becomes 1 plus 4 over negative 2 plus negative 3. So it's 5 over negative 5, which simplifies then to negative 1. So you have y minus y, so that's y minus 1, equals slope negative 1 times x minus x, or x minus a negative 2. I'm going to turn that minus 1 into plus a negative 1, and I'm going to turn that minus negative 2 into plus 2. Okay? Now I end up with y plus a negative 1 equals, I have to distribute, negative 1x plus a negative 2. And then I'm going to add 1 to both sides to get y alone, and I end up with y equals negative 1x plus a negative 1. Okay, I would like you to try this process now. What we did is we took, when you're given, back up to the top here, when you're given the slope and a point, you plunk it in and then simplify it. When you're given 2 points, you calculate the slope and then plunk in a point and simplify it. And like I said, I have always simplified it down to y equals, so it's point slope or slope intercept form. You can do that. You don't have to do that. That's up to you. Okay? If you can leave it, unless it tells you you have to do that, like it did here. If it doesn't tell you, like example number 1, you can leave it in that format. Or you could simplify it too, because either way it's going to come out to be about the same. Or it's going to come out to be the same thing, equivalent. Okay, so on what page is this? 612, I need you to do number 3. I need you to do number 7. And I need you to do number 13. Okay? 3, 7, and 13 for tomorrow.